You've probably been doing it wrong for over 40 years, and no one ever told you. But that's not your fault. It's the world we grew up in. No one talked openly about men's sexual health beyond our younger years. No one prepared us for how things change after 60. And no one taught us that self-pleasure, something so natural, so personal, would also need to evolve with age. When misunderstood, it can lead to frustration, shame, and even real health concerns. But I'm here to change that. I'm Dr. James Ellison, a board-certified urologist and men's health expert with over 30 years of experience helping men rediscover their confidence, strength, and joy in their bodies.
I've worked with thousands of men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. And I can tell you this with absolute certainty. Most of them lived with quiet confusion about masturbation until we had an honest conversation. What if I told you there are 7 simple science-backed truths about self-pleasure that can improve not only your sex life, but also your energy, your sleep, your prostate health, and even your emotional well-being? These aren't gimmicks. They're not fads. They're the kind of practical, powerful wisdom we all wish someone had shared with us earlier. The kind that makes you stop and think, why didn't I know this sooner? And in just a moment, I'm going to walk you through each of these 7 secrets. Oh, including one that could completely change the way you feel about your body, your masculinity, and your pleasure. Before we dive into these important truths, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way, you won't miss any future advice tailored specifically for men like you. And if you find this video helpful, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't quite hit the mark, type 0. I'm here to learn from you and keep improving what matters most to your health.
All right, let's get into it. And we'll start with the first truth that surprises most men. As you age, the way your body experiences pleasure changes. And if you don't adapt, you could be missing out on a deeper, more satisfying connection with yourself. Secret 1. Masturbation is not a young man's game. It evolves with age. Most older men don't know this, and if they do, they often don't fully understand what it means or why it matters so much. I've sat across from countless men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s who told me they felt frustrated, confused, or even ashamed after masturbating. Not because they did anything wrong, but because something felt off. It didn't feel like it used to. The release didn't bring the same relief. Sometimes it left them feeling empty or strangely tired. The truth is, no one ever told them. Your body's relationship with pleasure changes as you age.
The pace, the pressure, the expectations you had in your 20s, those don't serve you now. But here's the part that no one talks about. It can actually get better, deeper, more fulfilling, but only if you let go of the old script. When you're younger, masturbation is often fast, urgent, and goal-driven. But after 60, your nervous system, your hormones, even your skin sensitivity all shift. Your body craves something slower, more mindful, more connected. This isn't weakness, it's wisdom. When older men finally allow themselves to explore this, to breathe more, to slow down, to engage the whole body, they often say, I wish I knew this 30 years ago. And I always nod because it's one of the most common regrets I hear. The real secret masturbation at this stage of life isn't just about physical release. It's about rediscovering a different kind of pleasure. One that's not rushed, not judged, and fully yours. And yet, even if you adapt your pace, there's something else quietly working against your pleasure. Most men never realize it until it's already dulling their desire. Let's talk about that next. If you're still here and these insights are resonating with you, just type the number 1 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. Now let's keep going. It's time to uncover the second secret. Secret porn is rewiring your brain subtly and negatively. This is one of the hardest truths for many men to accept, but it's also one of the most important. Most older men, even those who consider themselves wise, experienced and in control, have no idea how deeply modern pornography has shaped their sexual experience, and not for the better. I've had patients look me in the eye and say, "Doc, I just don't feel it anymore. I try to enjoy myself, but the sensation is dull. The urge is there, but the pleasure, it's flat empty." And when we peel back the layers, the answer is often hidden in a long silent habit. Years, sometimes decades of consuming visual porn. What they didn't know, and what I wish every man over 60 could learn, is that repeated exposure to fast-paced, high-stimulation pornography can rewire your brain. It alters the reward centers, it changes how your dopamine system responds to real touch, real emotion, and real connection. In other words, it can make your own body feel less alive. You may find yourself needing more extreme material just to feel something. You may chase stimulation without satisfaction. And most of all, you may wonder why the simple, natural act of self-pleasure doesn't feel as nourishing as it once did. But here's the hope. Your brain can reset. When men take even a short break from porn, a few weeks of turning inward using memory, imagination, or nothing at all, they often rediscover a sensitivity they thought was lost forever. Their body becomes responsive again.
Their pleasure returns in waves, and yet even if you reclaim sensitivity, there's another hidden element that can either support or sabotage your health during self-pleasure, and most men have never even heard about it. Let's uncover that. Next, secret 3. Masturbation can support prostate health if done right. This is the kind of secret that makes older men sit back in their chair and say, "Why the hell didn't someone tell me this sooner?" Because for years, decades, really, the conversation around masturbation has either been full of shame or silence. What's almost never mentioned is that it can actually be good for your prostate, but only if you're doing it in a healthy, balanced way. I remember one man, he was 74, who told me he stopped masturbating altogether after his wife passed, thinking it was no longer necessary. A few years later, he came in with an inflamed prostate and urinary issues that made life deeply uncomfortable. When we talked, I gently explained what so many men are shocked to learn, that regular ejaculation can help flush out the prostate, reduce congestion, and even lower the risk of prostate cancer. But here's the part most people miss. Overdoing it, especially without rest or hydration, can irritate the prostate too. It's not about quantity, it's about rhythm, respect, and listening to your body. Just like any other organ, your prostate needs care, not pressure. When men begin to see self-pleasure not as indulgence, but as a form of personal maintenance, their relationship with it changes. It becomes something you do to support your health, your comfort, even your dignity. And when that shift happens, the shame fades and is often replaced with quiet gratitude. I wish I'd known this years ago. They say I hear that all the time. But even if you're treating your body right, there's another layer to this one. Most men never think about. It's not physical at all, yet it might be the most powerful part of all. Let's go there next. If you're still here and finding these insights valuable, go ahead and comment the number 1 below. It lets me know you're engaged, and this message is reaching you. Now let's continue with secret number 4. Secret 4, it's not just physical, it's emotional self-care. This is the one that hits closest to the heart, because for so many older men, self-pleasure carries a lifetime of hidden emotions, guilt, embarrassment, even shame. And yet what they've never been told is that masturbation isn't just a physical act, it's a form of emotional self-care. In fact, for some men, especially those who've lost a partner or spent years suppressing their own needs, it becomes one of the only intimate connections they have left. I once had a man in his late 60s quietly admit to me that he still masturbated, but only in the dark, and only when he felt particularly lonely. He whispered it like a confession. But when I told him that what he was doing wasn't shameful, that it was actually a deeply human way to soothe and reconnect with himself, I saw tears well up in his eyes. "No one's ever said that to me before," he told me. You see, self-touch at this stage of life isn't about lust or fantasy. It's about reclaiming a piece of yourself. It can calm anxiety. It can help you sleep. It can bring a sense of presence and peace that medication often can't. And when you remove the guilt, when you stop viewing it as something secretive or juvenile, it can become something healing, something powerful. Many men spend their entire lives disconnected from their own bodies. They chase performance, avoid vulnerability, and miss the emotional richness of simply being with themselves. But when they finally allow it, when they see masturbation as a quiet, caring act, they often say, "I wish someone had told me this when I was younger." But as you begin to accept that truth, a new question arises. What if the physical changes you've noticed aren't failures at all, but invitations to a different kind of experience? Let's explore that next secret 5. Erections are different, and that's okay. This is one of those truths that no one prepares you for. Men spend decades believing that an erection is the measure of their manhood, that if it's not firm, instant, or predictable, something must be wrong. But what most older men don't know, and I deeply wish they did, is that erections evolve with age, and that's not failure. That's nature. That's life doing what it's designed to do. I remember a man, 68, retired Navy, who came into my office feeling embarrassed. "Doc," he said, "I can't do it like I used to. I take longer to get hard. Sometimes I don't finish. I feel broken." What he didn't know, what so many men don't, is that his experience was completely normal. In fact, it's expected. Testosterone declines, blood flow, slows nerves, respond differently. But what doesn't fade is the capacity for pleasure that remains if you know how to work with it. Older men often need more time, more stimulation, and a gentler approach. And when they stop chasing what their body used to do, they often discover something richer, deeper sensation, emotional connection, and longer-lasting satisfaction. Many say the pressure finally lifts, and they feel more present than they ever did in their 20s. I've had men tell me that letting go of their old expectations gave them their first truly intimate experiences with themselves and with a partner. And almost every time they say, "I wish I had stopped judging myself sooner." Still, even as you embrace these changes, there's a powerful myth that continues to haunt men silently. The fear that masturbation somehow steals your energy or weakens your desire. That couldn't be further from the truth. Let's break that down. Next secret 6, masturbation doesn't kill your drive, it can enhance it. One of the most stubborn myths I hear, and I hear it often, is the belief that masturbation somehow drains your energy, weakens your sex drive, or even causes long-term harm. I've had men in their 60s and 70s look at me with concern and ask, "Am I doing this too much? Is it why I feel tired? Is it hurting my performance?" And here's what they don't know. And what I deeply wish someone had told them decades ago when practiced mindfully: self-pleasure doesn't drain your desire. It actually helps regulate it. It supports hormonal balance, keeps blood flowing, and helps you stay in tune with what your body needs. In many cases, it can reignite arousal, not diminish it. The real problem isn't the act itself, it's how it's approached. When masturbation is rushed, mechanical, or driven by stress or habit, yes, it can leave you feeling numb or depleted. But when it's intentional, slower, more exploratory, it becomes something altogether different. It sharpens your awareness, deepens your sensitivity, and actually makes you more responsive during partnered intimacy. I remember a man who once told me, "I thought I was supposed to stop. But when I stopped, I felt disconnected from my body, my desire, even my confidence." When he changed how he engaged with himself, more presence, less pressure, his energy came back. His interest in sex returned. He stopped feeling like something was fading and started feeling alive again. This is a truth too many men discover far too late. But it's never too late to relearn desire on your own terms. And yet, even after all these physical and emotional insights, there's still one more secret. One that doesn't involve technique or biology, but something even more powerful: your voice. Let's talk about that next secret. You deserve to talk about this, and you're not alone. This is the secret most men carry for far too long in silence. The truth is, we were never taught how to talk about this part of ourselves, not as boys, not as husbands, and certainly not as older men. Somewhere along the way, the message became clear. Real men don't talk about masturbation. We don't ask questions. We just figure it out on our own, or we keep it hidden. But after decades of working with men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, I've seen what happens when that silence is finally broken. When a man finally gathers the courage to say, "Doc, I've got a question about something personal." What follows is almost always relief, because for the first time he's not pretending, he's not guessing, he's not carrying it alone. I've had men admit they were afraid to bring it up with their doctor. Others told me they felt embarrassed even asking their partners. But here's what they didn't know, and what I wish every man could understand sooner. Your questions are valid. Your experience matters. You're not broken. You're just aging. And with that comes change that deserves care, not shame. When men open up, they don't just find answers, they find peace. And often they find connection either with their doctor, with their partner, or even just within themselves. That kind of honesty can be healing in ways no pill or procedure ever could. And now that you've heard all 7 of these truths, the ones so many men wish they'd known sooner, there's one more thing I want to leave you with. One message that ties it all together. Stay with me, because this might be the part that changes everything. Final thoughts from Dr. Kara. If you've made it this far, I want you to know something very simple and very true. I'm proud of you. Not because you watched or listened to a video, but because you were willing to hear what most men never allow themselves to hear. You opened the door to a conversation that's long overdue. Over the years, I've spoken to thousands of men about masturbation. Most of them came in thinking something was wrong with them, that their changing erections, their lack of interest, their confused feelings meant they were broken. But what they learned, and what I hope you've seen here, is that nothing's broken. Your body isn't failing, it's just changing, and that change holds more wisdom and potential than you've probably ever been told. You've now heard the 7 truths. I believe every older man deserves to know that masturbation changes as we age and can become more meaningful, that porn can silently numb our sensitivity, that self-pleasure, when done right, can actually support prostate health, that it's emotional care, not just a physical release, that your erection doesn't define your manhood, that masturbation, when embraced with presence, can enhance desire, not drain it. And finally, that this conversation matters, that you matter. I can't tell you how many men have sat across from me and whispered, "I wish I had known this sooner." And every time I say the same thing, it's not too late. Not at 60, not at 70, not ever. So here's my invitation to you. Start now. Reconnect with yourself, without judgment. Talk to someone you trust. Rewrite the story you were given. You've still got time to make this part of your life richer, kinder, and fully yours. If this message resonated with you, I'd love for you to let me know. Leave a comment below, even just a simple yes or thank you, because your voice matters and you're not alone in this journey. If you have a question, a thought, or even something you've experienced yourself, feel free to share it. I read as many comments as I can, and your story might help someone else find the courage to speak up too. And if you believe this conversation is important, if you think more men deserve to hear the truth about their bodies, their pleasure, and their health, then please take a second to like this video. It helps more than you might realize.
A small gesture from you could be what helps another man discover the peace and confidence he's been missing. Lastly, consider sharing this with someone you trust, a friend, a brother, a father, even a partner. These are the kinds of conversations that change lives quietly but powerfully. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to do that. Now, I'll be sharing more insights, just like this, focused on your health, your strength, and your well-being, as you age with honesty, respect, and care. You deserve real answers. Let's keep this conversation going.